Hello, Brick Mill Elementary School teachers. I'm Paul Solars. I'm a fifth grade teacher, and I recently wrote a book called Learn Like a Pirate. And Dr. Feathers asked me if I would make a quick video that just kind of introduces the book and tells you a little bit about myself. So I've been teaching fifth grade for 16 years in Arlington Heights, Illinois. And I wrote this book because it kind of tells the story of how I've created a student-led classroom. My kids kind of take on most of the responsibilities in the classroom and do most of the tasks that a teacher often does. And it actually ends up empowering them and getting them to take more control of their classroom and be more invested in their learning. So Dr. Feathers asked if I would just go over what some of the book is about. So I'll do that with you right now. But I do want to say thank you to her for ordering copies for you guys and getting you to read the book, because I think it's a really powerful tool to help you make some positive change in your classroom. And I know that you did Teach Like a Pirate as well. And she had said that you guys, not everything's going to resonate with you, but you should take the parts of it that really matter to you and that really work for you. And I'm going to say the same thing for Learn Like a Pirate. Use the parts of the book that work for you and see what you can do to make positive change in your classroom. Half of this stuff you might already be doing, but maybe there's some ideas in there that you'll take and you'll use for yourselves. So let me tell you a little bit about Learn Like a Pirate. Pirate is an acronym, just like in Teach Like a Pirate. So the acronym stands for P for peer collaboration, I is improvement focused learning, R is responsibility, A is active learning, T is 21st century skills, and E is empowerment. And what I did was I kind of explained that those 6 areas are the things that you need to do in order to get your kids to actually lead the classroom. Because, if we don't empower them to actually become leaders, they're not going to do it. If we don't provide opportunities for them to become leaders, they're not going to do it. If we don't, make sure that it's a safe environment that they're comfortable making mistakes in, they're not going to lead. So these chapters kind of go into detail about how I try to empower them to run the classroom. So peer collaboration gives you a bunch of techniques and strategies for getting kids working together appropriately, handling conflict, and just working together rather than separately. That improvement-focused learning chapter, in my classroom, we don't really do grades for many things. We still have report cards, we still have objectives, I have Common Core, but when it comes to day-to-day assignments and tasks, I don't give them grades on any of it. I give them feedback constantly. So they'll be working on something and I'll say, all right, this is great. Let's see how we can improve it. How can we make this better? While they're working in groups, the final product is not what it's all about. It's about the process and working with each other. So I believe feedback's the key. And then report cards come along and there's never really any surprises. I'm not, my kids are working so hard that, few of my kids are getting F's or D's. I've never given an F or a D. I should say that. But even C's, it's hard to get a C in my class because every child that's currently achieving at a lower level is constantly working with me before school, after school, during lunch recess, and in school to try to improve that. So many of my kids are getting A's and B's on their report cards, and it's not a fluff grade. It's not an easy thing to do. You have to work really hard to get those grades. But I make sure that each of my kids try to achieve at that level. Responsibility is just saying, I have a lot of tasks that I need to do in my classroom, but why should I do all of them? So I give a lot of those responsibilities to my kids. But at the same time, I say, I'm happy to do them too. I'm a member of this community. So if we can all 25 of us work together to get these things done, things will go a lot better. So responsibility is giving some of that to the kids. Active learning, if we sit and do worksheets and we read textbooks and I lecture the whole day, there's not going to be that many opportunities for the kids to lead. So what I do is I try to take all of my objectives and Common Core standards and objectives I try to make them into active learning experiences. So I use simulations and debates, and we have a science fair, and we do all these kinds of things where, instead of just learning about a subject, we're doing things actively. We're making blog entries and e-portfolio entries about our learning. We're making videos and taking pictures. All of those things are the evidence that I need to show my administration and my parents exactly how my kids are making progress, and the kids are doing this in a fun, active way, so it ends up eliminating any behavior problems, off-task behavior. Most of my kids are completely on task the whole day because they're so engaged in what they're doing. The 21st Century Skills chapter, what I believe is if I give feedback, I want my feedback to be on more of how my kids are working and you know, the strategies of learning rather than you're not understanding this one objective. I feel as though if I can increase the effort and increase production and make sure that my kids are actively learning, that they're going to understand those content objectives a lot better. So I focus on 21st century skills like creativity and problem solving, and I have 34 of them that I list in the book. So I focus on those skills together because that's what makes a 21st century learner today. And I feel if I can transform my kids into these 21st century learners, they're going to learn so much more throughout the rest of their school careers than they would if I just focused on that science objective or that math objective for the day. And the last one's empowerment. Empowerment, you know, it goes through the entire book, but I had to make a chapter on it because if you don't give that power to the kids and you don't say this is your classroom and mine together, it'll never work. You can't have a student-led classroom where kids are making great progress if you don't tell them that they have as much control as you do, with the knowledge that, you know, I may have the last say in everything, but you guys have control of the classroom too. I give my kids the opportunity to do Give Me 5 throughout the day, which means that they can shout Give Me 5, Give Me 5. Everybody has to stop what they're doing and look at the speaker, figure out what they want. They might deliver a message, they might give a direction, they might ask a question, they might offer some advice, but that's them leading the classroom. If only the teacher does that all day, the kids know that you're always in charge and they'll wait for you to make all the decisions. But if they know they have the opportunity to do that, they problem solve and figure out things before you could ever even come up with, you know, before you could even realize that there's a problem to solve. So this book just tells the story of what I'm doing. I hope that it's impactful for you. I hope that there's parts of it that are going to really work for you. And if so, I'd love to talk to you about it. I'm on Twitter at Paul Solars. I'm also available on email, psolars@sd25.org. And I look forward to talking with you in the future. Thank you so much, Dr. Feathers, for inviting me into your school. Talk to you guys later.